Anheuser-Busch distributors are saying that they no longer expect Bud Light sales to ever recover following the company's partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney this past March. That is according to the New York Post. Now, after months of layoffs, hiring freezes, and sales dropping more than 25%, distributors are accepting their losses, with an executive at a Texas-based beer distributor saying, "Consumers have made a choice, they have left, and that's how it's going to be. I don't envision a big percentage of them coming back." According to the New York Post, sales of other Anheuser-Busch beers, including Budweiser, Michelob Ultra, and Busch Light, have seen a decline, and customers have, quote, likely found that Bud Light's competitors, including Coors Light and Miller Lite, are a very similar product with a slightly different market campaign, slightly different marketing campaign.
Yeah, it's bad news for Anheuser-Busch. It's tough for them.
Yeah. Has there ever been a marketing campaign that so obliterated a flagship product in the past? We'd have to go back to what was New Coke, that whole thing.
I think there have been many instances of boycotts that have been effective. I think that the boycotts against South African apartheid had a notable political effect. The United States has,
in general.
Well, the United States has made boycotting Israel illegal in some parts of the country. If you want a government contract, the conservatives in the South, some southern states have put that into law, but it's still an attempt by some progressives to fight for more equality for Palestinians. And of course, there have been any number of public relations gaffes that have caused outrage and declines in earnings for companies. Famously, any number of companies have been criticized for racist ad campaigns, or there was the Balenciaga campaign like a year ago, where they had the BDSM dolls, like teddy bears, with other kind of pornographic imagery mixed up with child imagery that caused a lot of people to walk away from that campaign.
I forgot about that. That was weird.
Yeah,
that was not a good idea.
It was a bizarre choice.
It was very bizarre.
Yeah, so I think it happens. I think that one aspect of what's going on here is that there is no sympathetic solidarity campaign of people who are fans of Dylan Mulvaney or
they're mad
trans
at the
rights.
company for not standing up for her more.
So to the extent that they could have generated any goodwill by seeming sincere in their efforts to stand with trans people, they clearly are not. So
they're not saying it. Remember that executive, the president? We played some clip of him being interviewed about it. They're like, "Well, would you do this again?" And he was just like, words.
Right. Why would they even send him out?
If you're not going to say anything, don't say anything.
And Dylan Mulvaney has been very clear that she hasn't gotten any support from the company and that she feels like she got thrown under the bus. She didn't ask for this, and now she's, the spokesperson for anti-trans hate to much of the country. So, that's also
what do you mean?
But wait a minute. That's also a choice that Bud Light made, to not stick by their guns, and who knows if they would have recouped some of those sales from people who actually stood in solidarity with the company, but they've chosen their bed, and now a company that disproportionately gave to conservative donors, almost, I think, exclusively gave to conservatives. They gave $500,000 to the RNC last year. The top donors are RNC, Save Missouri Values, Republican National Committee, and GOPAC, all conservative PACs. It seems a little bit of a self-own, but I don't know too many progressives who are going to be crying tears for Bud Light.
Well, that was the argument that Donald Trump Jr. tried to make at one point, saying that, this is a good company that gives to Republicans, so let's, not be overly critical. Matt Walsh and his followers were having none of that. They said, no, don't roll over just because they give to ours. We will hold this company accountable, and they won out.
Yeah, there was an article in the Daily Beast that was back in April when I think a lot of this controversy was really hot, titled "GOP Quietly Backs Off Attacking Bud Light, Its Own Major Donor," where the people who were the money people tried to right the ship.
That did not work at all.
It didn't.
Yeah, I don't think that argument was persuasive at all. It was very like, you can't criticize, like on the Democratic side, you can't criticize Joe Biden because you're helping Trump or something. It's just not.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump urged an end. Donald Trump Jr. urged an end to the boycott. Pointing out that the 2022 cycle.
I'm not sure Donald Trump would have been even in favor of the boycott in the first place. Or that's the argument Ron DeSantis is making to his voters.
Yeah, when he recruited those questionable staffers to make a video, that bizarre anti-LGBT video that they put out that apparently members of his own staff were objecting to prior to its being issued. You know, it's a weird position that I think a lot of mainstream people are not actually into. It's one thing to say, I don't want trans issues pushed on you, whatever that means. It's quite another to seemingly target them in the way that his anti-woke campaign has done. So.
Sure, but a whole lot of people are no longer drinking this beer.
Yeah, well.
Dylan Mulvaney has been traveling and had this to say in a recent video for TikTok.
Hi, today would be day 500 of being a girl if I was still keeping up with that series. But I found myself in kind of an interesting position because if I make the content that I want to make and freely share my trans joy, I subject myself to a lot more trauma. So lately I've chosen to scale back in order to protect my overall well-being, and it works. I am quite happy, but I'm not doing what I love. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing. But today's a big day, so screw it. It's day 500 of publicly coming out as a woman.
There was some reporting, however, from the Daily Mail that she's planning on speaking on college campuses and has raised her speaking fee to $40,000 per visit. So
free markets at work. Aren't you thrilled?
Well, yes, although it's not, if it's a public university, it's not. But she can go speak at whatever private universities, and that's all fine with me, sure.
If the students
she has the right to speak at public
universities. She has the right to speak anywhere. We'll see, you know, hopefully all of the free speech warriors who are championing the rights of people that many on the left disagreed with, like Milo Yiannopoulos, to speak
wherever she wants.
We'll happily allow her to do so and earn as much money as she wants in the process.
Fine by me. Fine by me. I don't drink beer very much anyway, so it wasn't personal. Dylan Mulvaney, I'm just not a fan of really beer in general, especially Bud Light.
That's fine. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time caring about the story. I think there's been a lot of discourse about how this proves something about the power of Republican boycotts. I think, yeah, Republicans have a lot of power to boycott products that they disproportionately use, like Bud Light. But whether or not that inures to the benefit of Republican interests more broadly, or has the effect of censoring or limiting the scope of the people that they don't like Dylan Mulvaney, I think that's up in the air. And if the result of this is that a right-leaning company that gives to right-leaning causes has less money and Dylan Mulvaney is able to up her speaking fee and become wealthy in the process, is that a win?
Well,
I don't know. All I know is that there's millions of people in America on both sides of the aisle who are screaming healthcare, please, as these stories continue to dominate.
You can still scream healthcare, please, but social conservatives were trying to send a message that companies should not be as overtly political, and they will suffer some consequence for that. And they did suffer a
extremely
consequence here.
Free speechy.
Well, it's all free speech. That's just, you can use their speech.
Yeah.
Nobody's required, again, to buy beer at all. That does it for us for today. Tomorrow on Rising, Briahna and I will be right here, same rising time, same rising place, bringing you another day full of news.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who prefer to listen while you're on the move, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
See ya.
Bye-bye.